Let's Talk Oculus is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/playtestvr. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 54. I'm Dan. With me, as always, it's Samson. How you doing today?
I am doing well. Whew. Got in some good VR. Had a good weekend here.
Very nice. I'm excited.
Excited about our guest.
I'm excited to dive into that. And joining us on episode 54 is friend of the show and one half of the VR Verdict podcast is PJ. PJ, how you doing?
Hey, I'm like, I don't know, 0.6 of the podcast, not half, a little more. No, I'm just kidding.
You're like a regular now.
We won't tell Wookie.
Third time over now on the podcast too. So
Yeah,
you're like 0.1 of the Let's Talk Oculus as well.
It is.
I have to start giving you a percentage of the Patreon.
Yeah. It is nice to pop on a podcast and be a guest. I'm sure we've had you on ours, and it's nice to not have to do all the background stuff and just relax and talk. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, leave that over to us. So today we have a regular show. Obviously, last week we had Techman Jew on the show. So if you've not listened to that one, definitely have a look at that one. That was definitely more of a unique episode of just talking fun about VR. But in this one, a bit more structured. So there's going to be a bunch of news regarding Cambria's release date, PSVR 2's release date. We'll be talking about that. And there's some new Walking Dead gameplay footage and from Gamescom and such. But all that and more. But first, a little housekeeping as usual. Let's Talk Oculus is released every single Wednesday on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. You can watch the video version on YouTube so you can see PJ's lovely face, because you don't really get that with the VR Verdict, you know? We see your avatars.
Just those medicine capsule hands.
I was gonna make some fake ones so I could have them here.
Absolutely. And we also have a Discord where we have multiplayer games, big screen games, and just general chit chats. Definitely join us on the Discord if you want to be involved in the Let's Talk Oculus community. And we also have a Patreon, so if you really love us, throw us $1 at that, and all the links will be in the description below. All right, before we get into the news and all that hoo-ha, PJ, let's check in with you. How are you doing? Obviously, like I said, VR Verdict podcast. I'll have your links in the description for people to check out. But how has the podcast been doing recently?
Been doing great. Having a lot of guests who are mainly devs and talking about their game and their stories of development. I don't know about you guys, but I'm trying to find that sweet spot into like booking out too far and not in advance enough to not be rushed all the time. And if you find that magic line, let me know, because it's a lot.
We teeter on the rushed side.
Yeah, we teeter on the all right, let's next week, who should we get? Okay, let's try this one. Let's message them. But I know Skiva from the what do you call it, Between Realities podcast. He schedules, because they do it in seasons kind of thing, unlike us, we kind of just release one every week or so, but he does it in seasons, so he normally books way in advance, because I feel like the next season's coming out soon, and then he's already booking slots for people all the way up till Christmas, which is crazy for me. Right?
Yeah, he was asking me about a guest for like a couple months down the road. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually was planning on talking to them anyway, so it worked out. But yeah, they were really far in advance. We find it like we go too far, and then someone's like, hey, I got a Kickstarter. Can I come talk about it? It's like, well, yeah, we could do 2 that week, I guess. But
yeah, that's true. I guess sometimes it depends what's happening. And you see that with other podcasts when people are like promoting their book or film and such, they won't be booked in advance. They should be, So yeah, there's no sweet spot, but I guess it can be rushed. But have you had some issues where like you've come to a podcast week and it's like, I don't have anybody, and we just go from there?
It's been close. Not like probably a week away. I've had to like scramble, but thankfully there's a lot of great people in the community that can normally just pop in. We've had a few guests like last minute, like, hey, something came up or I'm sick. That's happened more than it has in the past couple of months.
Yeah.
So that's been fun. So where Wookie and I just kind of will then make something up as we go, which is probably the most fun to listen to. But especially since Wookie doesn't play a lot of VR, so it's mainly me just
yip yapping
making
away
stuff up. Yeah. But
yeah, fair enough. I mean, that
you get
seems
some
like
good stories on those ones.
yeah.
You never know, like, you know, even with devs, like if you talk too much development talk, like some days I'm like, after a bit, because I don't know any of that. I find it really interesting, but when they start saying millions of triangles and all the jargon, I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about, but this is cool. So like we'll start comparing things to like flat gaming and like Witcher 3 or GTA from our past, and yeah, you know, I always wonder, like, does anyone want to hear this? I don't know, but it's interesting.
We did have the podcast with Techman last week. It was kind of like that. We just went nothing planned or anything like that. It was like let's just have a chat, and yeah, I mean, you always have the diehards who just want to listen to anything that you put out, and because it feels like they're in the room as well. But no, it is nice sometimes when you do have those podcasts though, because you go, oh yeah, I've not talked to you, Wookie, about anything that you've been doing.
Exactly. We don't get that like one-on-one little chance to talk because there's, you know, always a guest, which is fine. But yeah, I'm kind of curious what you guys think of. I just lost my train of thought, which happens all the time. It'll come back to me. I'll just keep talking.
Yeah. Fair enough. Any specific like games or anything that you've been playing recently?
Oh, a lot.
A lot.
Sail. It's basically Sea of Thieves in VR, which is amazing. We talked to them a year ago on our podcast, and that game has come a long way, and I'm really excited now because it's shaping up. I'm playing Ultimex, that's coming out soon, and ForeVR Cornhole has been a blast. That's coming out really soon. So yeah, it's been a fun couple of weeks. So
sure. Yeah, Ultimex game, I've watched a couple videos on it. It looks pretty fun if you can get you know, I feel like if I was playing with my friends or people I know, way better than like playing against a random, which is really how I feel about Rocket League as well.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's a nice thing about your podcast is because you normally have devs on. It's kind of nice because you get to see some of the early pre-release builds of what they're working on. And then obviously you probably check in with them maybe a year before there's something comes out, and then you see the progression. Something like Samurai Slaughterhouse, I guess you can see, you know, you're like, I remember you seeing that quite early on, and then now it's developed to, and it's still going, but like the progression is kind of nice.
Yeah, like I'm like, when is this game coming out, man? Because it's been a long time, and he adds something like awesome every week, and it's just like, when do you call it good and ship it? That's, you know, I guess
it's interesting, isn't it? It's the fine line of, I guess it's the fine line of just art. Is that when you it's like a music album or such, as when do you just go, okay, we're at the stage now where it can just be put out. But I guess you could always fine tune it. But you're right, he's just on his own, right? He's just yeah, so that's the thing. But he always keeps almost every week update 0.883 or something like that. I've now put this into the game.
Yeah, the latest one. The latest one, he just added the bow, and he's like, this definitely has some bugs, but it's so fun. I need y'all to play it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If you're part of his Patreon, every week you get a build and a new thing, and then he's also got all these little side projects that are just as neat, and you get to play around with them and stuff. So I recommend that.
Definitely recommend it. Vehicular Rampage is like Carmageddon. It is so fun.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. And how is Wookie doing? How's he doing on the podcast at the moment?
He's great. We are working on moving our podcast. We call it a clubhouse into like a new area, and adding like grabbable objects and all kinds of other things. And we're working on it with another person, so kind of waiting on him to do his thing so Wiki can do his thing so I can do my thing, because I don't do any of that coding. So I really got to learn it so I don't have to bug Wiki so much. But yeah, that'll be exciting. It'll be really neat to see that. But yeah, he's doing well.
Nice. Yeah,
a lot of games. And
I'm going to say just to the listeners who don't really know your podcast is that your podcast is in VR. That's what the kind of the clubhouse that you're alluding to. at the moment. And I remember we were on the show not too long ago now, and I think we had a race around the around the stage and such. But I guess one of the big things that you really want is to have like audience interaction.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, we had that in Spatial Ape. It was awesome just to have people come and watch the show and be able to ask questions to the devs if they're like, hey, I love that game. I'm gonna go ask that guy some questions or something like that. So we're trying to get back there to add that back in too, because it's been missed. It was just fun to have like a pre-show and an after show and hang out. And
Yeah.
This Spatial Ape app was very fun like a
Yes.
year ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, what is happening with that? Is that just completely folded, or is it something that?
So yeah, the team kind of were going to take a break and retool, and then something happened to where they're like, I don't think we're going to make it come
Right.
back. And so still in their Discord, and there's other team has gone through all the legal stuff, and they're actually taking over. So it's coming back.
Oh, nice.
That's
So that'd be
excellent.
neat because that was a great space to meet people and hang out.
Yeah, because like Spatial Ape was I mean, you would have, was it every Wednesday or Thursday or something like that?
Thursday,
And
yep.
every
Yeah.
Thursday you'd have like a mini conference in there, and some or convention rather, where people would show off their. I remember we had the Let's Talk Oculus podcast in there once, which was fun. But then you have your own space where you would do your podcast later on that day at like 5 o'clock or whatever, and then people can join live, and it was kind of nice. It was really nice. So I hope that does come back, because it was nice to network with all these devs. So I remember meeting Dave, who lives in Spain, who did Warcasm.
Warcasm.
I remember meeting him in there, and then he came on the show, and then I think he bought some merch from us the other day. I think he messaged me.
Nice.
He
Yeah,
said,
he
"Give
bought
me
a
a
shirt
discount
from us.
code." Yeah, which was awesome, right? So, but the thing, I would have met him otherwise,
No way.
So yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was really good for networking. It was a good time, and it was perfectly timed with when I was unemployed.
So you could come in on those Thursdays.
I had Thursday afternoons free.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah, I hope they bring it back as sooner rather than later, because that was definitely fun, especially during these times in the summertime where there's not much going on like on the public facing, but everyone's kind of building in the background. So
Yeah.
that's always a fun time to speak to them. But yeah, well, awesome. The VR verdict, like I said, will be all the links will be in the description below. Definitely check them out. You normally do you also normally do it live often as well?
We live stream Thursday. We try to do Thursdays at 7 p.m. CST. But if the dev is like, across the sea or something like that with the time zone fun, we do Saturday mornings. But we stream it live to Facebook and YouTube, and then release the audio as the podcast. So
perfect. Beauty. Samson, what have you done in VR? You said you've had a lot of fun things in VR this week. So let's go.
I've been doing some synth riders per usual. My workouts. I did finally get into Shock Troops. Nice. Only about an hour, not too much, but I do look forward to getting back in. Real fun arcade style shooter, right up my alley. I love those like pixelated graphics. I don't feel like I haven't figured out like all the deeper levels of the game, but I'm just enjoying running around shooting things.
Was it odd powering up into that lobby there, because that's basically our clubhouse?
It does. Yeah, it does really feel like
it's literally the exact model from that.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I'm never gonna not see that now. What else? I got into a little bit of grab with Kai from the Patreon. We played this level called BFL. Let you figure out what that stands for. Took us like 35 minutes. And there are children out there that complete this level in 3 to 5 minutes, and it still blows my mind. So sore afterwards, like getting so frustrated at some points. Luckily, Kai is like the most determined person I've ever met, and he's like, "Nah, we're finishing this." I was like, I want to give up. But and then I hopped into a little bit of Myst, played for like a half hour. Still have no freaking idea what's going on. I feel like such a moron in this game. Like I can't even, let alone solving puzzles, I can't even figure out what the puzzles are.
Yeah.
But I would just walk around and I pull levers, and I played on the PC version and it looks beautiful. So, I'm excited for that Walkabout level for sure, even though I have no idea what's going on. And then I had a friend come over who doesn't have a high-end PC, and I got him in the Edge of Nowhere because I wanted to show him some VR with controller. Kayak VR because it's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Even though I realized the dude had no idea how to kayak, which is kind of funny to watch. And then he wanted to try some flight sim because I guess he's trying to go get his pilot license in a couple months.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think their skills translate when it comes to that a little bit?
I imagine so. If you were playing flight sim in the plane that you were training in, yes. But like, because it doesn't have motion controls, you like have to use the mouse and or memorize what the buttons are to the keys.
Yeah.
So in that sense, no. But like, you'd have
things are recognizable.
Yeah, you'd have a sense of where the things are for sure.
I think it is because I've got a couple 100 hours in Star Wars and with a HOTAS. So once I get my X-Wing built, I should be ready to just take off.
Yeah, is that a 2023 project, right? Coming soon.
I booted up Squadrons with the HOTAS, and then I realized that it wanted me to bind every single key. Like there's no like default. And I was like, I'm not spending the time to bind every single key.
It's probably worth it. Yeah, it's probably worth it once you get to it. On a rainy day or something like that, just go, okay, today's the day I want to spend some time.
That was enough friction for me to be like, all right, I'll just grab my Xbox controller here.
I know you mean by going back to Myst. I remember playing the VR version. I feel like that game, if you've not played it before, it might be easier to start in flat screen a little bit because going into VR, you're wandering around, you have no idea what's happening. All these puzzles that you see don't make any sense because you need to know stuff from later on in the game to go back to unlock them. And it's just, you get lost very quickly.
Yeah. That's probably the biggest challenge, I think, because Wookie and I actually just live stream playing Atlas VR. Where you're in the movie theater. That one is actually like in order, but like Myst, I haven't played it yet, so I'm excited to give it a shot. But you never know, like, should I be doing this yet? And they don't. Yeah. There's really no good way to say like, hey, move along. You're not ready yet. But you're just like, I'll sit there for an hour and just mess with something and like find out. Oh, yep, that was 4 hours from now. So
it is like I think the game came out in 93, and in some ways it feels like that in terms of there's no hand holding whatsoever.
I love that though. That's awesome.
It is, yeah. Well, have you played the game The Witness on PS4 or anything? 10 out of 10 puzzle game. Absolutely
love that one. But even that one, like I could figure like where most of the puzzles are, right? You're going to like the boards,
different areas and such.
Yeah, exactly.
I would highly recommend, by the way, PJ, The Witness is phenomenal. I would say it's 10 out of 10. It's fantastic.
Oh, sweet.
You can get it on the iPad and such, but it's better to play it controller or on the PC, for sure. But yeah, 10 out of 10. But the nice thing about that game is that when you start, it puts you in this little area. Kind of gives you like intro puzzles or such, and as soon as you get out of that area, then it becomes a little bit more open world where you could go to different areas at any time. Still, it's like Samson's right. You still know where the puzzles are because you go into separate parts of the island, like dungeons in Zelda kind of thing. And all the puzzles are related to that area and such, right? But at least it gave you that intro area at the start just to get your hand.
It builds you.
It does build you, and you start learning. You start learning a lot, and when you go through a specific dungeon, each puzzle kind of is a stepping stone to get to the next puzzle. And don't get me wrong, there's like some really, really hard puzzles, and there's this thing called environmental puzzles where every puzzle,
the shadow ones.
Every puzzle really kind of looks the same. It always has like a big round sphere, and then has a line across, and it makes more sense if you play The Witness. But you can, if you look in the environment in certain perspectives, those shapes will start to appear, and then you click on them, and then you can connect the dots, and it just explodes, and it's like they're environmental puzzles, which is really, really cool when you figure ones out. But it's a little bit easier to start in the Witness. Still a tough game, but I think Mist is a game where you have to, like, what I've heard from people is you have to write stuff down, and you have to like draw stuff and keep a diary. That's why a big thing with the VR version, I think it's patched now, but when it first came out, they didn't have a diary option where people thought this is missing because we're in VR. You don't want to open the headset, write stuff down and such, like write certain codes. Where in Witness, some people like to draw it out and then try and solve it, but you can do it without. You just go up to the TV and you'll hold your finger and you go, okay,
Yeah.
I think it's like this.
I think I'll have to watch someone play YouTube Mist. Someone play it on YouTube or something like this. I need like the old game facts or something, you know. I need like
or just a Mist walkthrough book, you know.
Yeah, I need a walkthrough
just to get you. I'm sure we can get a nice 93 copy somewhere on eBay. But they have remastered Mist for PC recently as well. So it might be best to pick it up via there instead of VR. But yeah. Definitely something to play for Walkabout though, because I feel like with Walkabout with Labyrinth, obviously we had all those. PJ, did you obviously watch Labyrinth, or did you know about Labyrinth before?
Oh yeah, it's a staple of my childhood, like many Jim Henson movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why.
How did you feel? How did you feel when you first went into that world of Walkabout in there?
It was epic. The bog of eternal stench is obviously like the biggest. Like that was when I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I mean, before that, but that was the best part. Yeah, exactly.
No, me and Samson made a comical error, I'd say, in terms of not watching the film before playing it.
No. It was an error. We wanted to give the perspective of somebody who hadn't seen it yet before we gave the perspective of somebody who had.
Right, I forgot about that planning that we did before the episode. Yeah, intentionally. But when we still appreciate it, but when we watched it properly with some of the people in the Discord and big screen, we were like, oh, okay. And then now you go back into Labyrinth and go, oh wow, this is actually pretty amazing of what they've been able to accomplish in terms of how to make it. Just everything feels so one-to-one, and it feels like you are actually there, you know, in that movie.
Freaking Ludo standing there in front of you, just like my 5-year-old inner self was like, this is freaking cool.
Yeah, amazing.
Right. I bought 2D Mist
just now.
Yeah, it's on sale.
See, this is why I like that we do our podcast with a quest on my head, because I would be doing the same thing. Like, okay, you mentioned this, I want to check that out. I bought it. Like,
you got to get that automatic credit card payments out your Steam account immediately.
Yeah, set up all through my voice assistant so I can just mute myself and say it.
Yeah,
as we go. But yeah, I need to join your guys' Discord. I every time I talk to you guys, or I think I mean to do it, but then I always get distracted because you know, like watching that stuff in big screen, like you guys do with your people, like that's just amazing.
Speaking of, we're gonna be watching. We got some news coming up, I guess, but we're gonna be watching 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
That's off. If I could get invited to that, I'd be a happy person.
For sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we'll send you that. We'll talk a bit more about that in the Walkabout. Just to kind of wrap up what we've been playing. Another week I haven't played any VR.
It must be cooling down finally, at least. So you just have IRL things going on.
Okay, so it cooled down yesterday, and it was like almost cold. Okay, I have fans on again. It was really hot again, but it cooled down yesterday. PJ, here in Vancouver, it's been almost, I would say, I think we calculated it to be around 90 Fahrenheit at some stages. And my room is like a hot box. The house is so muggy, and that's the worst environment for VR.
Yeah.
But yesterday it went way down. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but let's just say it was not shorts weather anymore. Okay. And I actually didn't play any VR, but my friend who's staying with me just recently for the past week or two, she's never played VR, and she's always asked. She was like, let me see what it is. And I said to her, okay, yeah, I'll put you in big screen and I'll put you in Walkabout. And she didn't really like the idea of big screen. She was like, yeah, I don't know how I feel being in like a theater and such. It might be too heavy and all that stuff. And I was like, give me a second. Let me give you some magic here, you know?
Yeah.
But what I did is I put it in there first. I gave it the first steps because I think that's essential to just learn how to hold those controllers and press the
For
buttons.
sure.
Because you can't see the controller technically, or in most games you can't see the controller. So for someone who's not played it to get used to it, she really liked dancing with the robot. She had a big fun time with that. But then I put
First
him to
Steps
walk.
is so good, but
Oh, it's amazing.
what was the original one on the Rift? Like the
With
first one?
with the T-Rex in the
No, just you're in a little camper with that robot, and it's like teaching
Oh,
you all the mechanics. Like that is even like that's still I go play that like once a month. That is still so freaking amazing
it's
to
so
me.
cool.
Yeah, it's like hanging out with Wally, the robot, you know?
Yeah.
It's just yeah.
As you do. Yeah, I don't think I've ever did that one. I remember
Oh my
playing one
God.
where it gave you different scenes, and I remember
Yep.
once there was a T-Rex that came in, and I was like, "Whoa, this is actually pretty cool."
Yeah.
But I don't know if I remember. I'll have to go back and have a look at which one you mean on that one.
I'll shoot you
Yeah.
a note.
Yeah, shoot me a note for sure. But no, I think the first steps is cool. But then I put it in Walkabout and I gave it the OG course. The reason why is I think those OG courses are simple enough where anyone can pick up and play. Where some of the
Yeah.
ones later on,
Get
like for
complicated,
example,
yeah.
Labyrinth, it becomes a little complicated, especially Labyrinth when where the hell am I going? But it gets a bit more complicated. But yeah, so we played it a little bit. I think we did 6 to 9 holes in the first Walkabout. And then I gave her Shangri-La at night just so she could see the lanterns. I didn't really play that one.
Nice.
She liked one hole, but she just wanted to see. And I
Look
was like,
around.
yeah, blew her mind. And then finally, after like a little bit of a break, I was like, okay, sit down. Let me put big screen on. I don't remember what we watched. We just kind of found like a random public room and selected. I can't remember which film it was. I want to say it was Jurassic Park or something like that. But yeah, so she could see that and she could understand what the potential would be. I was like, okay, now imagine this was with my Discord group and we're watching Labyrinth and we're all just having a good time just chatting. She said, okay, I understand a little bit more now. But it's pretty cool. I mean, like Samson, you've mentioned it many times on the show where you've given someone the headset, and you mentioned your 6-year-old. Well, not your 6-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, I missed that news.
Oh yeah. That was 6 years ago. I forgot to ping you. But putting the 6-year-old into Walkabout and such and seeing their reaction, it's pretty spectacular, isn't it? Because then you see that these people can now appreciate first of all what we do,
Yeah.
but
It's
like
wild.
what we do in the VR. We're not just creepy watching VR and doing weird things with our hands. It's actually pretty spectacular.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
guys find that a lot when you're talking to like family or friends and they don't know like what VR is or they've never
Over the head.
tried it and you're just like trying to explain like, well, I have a podcast about it. They're like, why?
Oh, every time I say if we hit, oh, we've just had 30,000 downloads in the podcast. They're like, okay. What's that? Like, there's no idea what that
I'll
kind
let
of
you know in like 2 weeks. I got a family vacation, not vacation, like a family barbecue with some extended family.
see what they
We'll see.
say.
They'll be like, "What are you doing?"
What
At
are they
least
doing?
you're back to the point now you can just put the headset on, like just shut up and
Yeah,
look at this.
just shut up and look at it. Actually, yesterday we went to this place called Rec Room, which was like just not, I wouldn't say like Mortal Kombat type arcades, but like carnival type of arcades and such, where like they have the basketball hoops and whatever. But they had a VR station actually where it was just
Nice.
it was what was it? A HTC Vive, which was obviously attached, and there was a basketball game on there. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't gym class or anything, but it was like specific for this arcade. And lots of people were playing it with the Vive controllers and such and having a time. I didn't want to put it on because I didn't want to put a headset on that's been used constantly. But it was just cool. I was like, okay, it's starting to come into places like this, so people get some sort of idea.
I see a
But
lot of people on Twitter running the VR arcades out there. They're
Coming
up
back.
and coming for sure. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I think I've seen, is it zero latency? I'm not sure if you have that in the States, but in Canada, they have a thing called zero latency, which is around Canada. There's one actually not far from me. I just haven't done it yet, but it's like the zombie shooter where you put it on and then you're in this big hall. So you can walk around in the hall and such, and you have like a party. It's like basically Laser Quest, but with VR headsets. It seems to be
Nice.
quite popular here as well. So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
I still go ahead, PJ.
I don't have anything like the location-based VRs around me, and I was literally was thinking about there was grocery store that closed on a huge one in town here, and I was thinking about buying that and running something, and then COVID hit. I'm like, thank God.
Absolutely.
But the thing we do have though, there's a thing where you physically run through a zombie infested house that's full of smoke, and you're playing laser tag and shooting zombies. Like if I'm assuming the location based VRs are on that level, and that's pretty freaking amazing. So
yeah, for sure. There needs to be more of them, I think. That I mean, probably after COVID, now that things are starting to ramp up, stuff is happening.
yeah.
But there was another one they had in the arcade thing yesterday. Was like a VR roller coaster. You put it on, but then the chair moves as well. It's like one of those like 4D, 5D cinemas that you'd see in amusement parks or something. But then you actually have the headset on rather than just the TV screen.
The Yaw 2. Oh man, I saw the rendered reality has set us up, finally made a short like intro video about it, his first impressions and all that. And it looks like it's got some friction to set up, but oh my God, playing the driving game. And he didn't actually play Flight Sim, I don't think yet, but he was playing all driving games and playing like NASCAR on a banked road, and like, oh, it just looks so amazing. But so much money.
Yeah.
And so much room, so much space.
They had that in the arcade yesterday too. They had not Yaw 2, but they would have had a version of like the Yaw pretty much. And they had simulators, but there were too many credits. I didn't want to pay for it, but it did look cool. There was one guy who you could tell was like a dad, and you could see his face. And I wish I'd recorded it, because I guess I can't record some random man in public, but you can see his face as how happy he was and the joy he was getting at just that racing simulator. I was like, that's awesome. What we want. It's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, perfect. Let's move on to the news. And I kind of want to mix the first couple together, and that's we have release dates for the next couple major headsets, I'd say. The Meta Quest Pro, which is what apparently Upload VR has just called it, but Project Cambria, releases in October, potentially. This was announced on the Joe Rogan podcast, randomly enough. But that's released in October, and the PSVR 2 has got a release date of early 2023, which was announced during Gamescom, which has just happened pretty much at the time of recording. What are you guys' thoughts about, first of all, Cambria? It's coming in October, coming in a couple months. PJ, because I haven't heard from you on this. Does this interest you any sense whatsoever or not?
It super does, only because, if I'm more of like a software person for VR. Like, I want more games. I don't like. I still rock my Rift CV1, and that's still my favorite headset overall.
Yeah.
I just want more games. Like, the headsets are great, and I love that they're working on it, bringing it out to more people by reducing friction, like motion sickness and comfortability, all that. But I have like 4 headsets. I'm good. It does interest me, because if other games can play better, or it makes devs' jobs easier to create their games, then I'm all for it, obviously. But it'll depend on price and just what I want to see the finished product, like how different it is. I'll probably get one at some point, probably not right off the bat, just because, like I said, I have plenty of headsets. I'm more interested in PSVR 2 and that side of things. So we'll see what happens.
Fair enough. Samson, I remember you saying recently that you're tempted to get this now as we get closer and closer.
For sure. I think I'm more interested in it than I am PSVR 2. I mean, the PSVR 2 is gonna have some exclusives, so that'll stink, like being left out of. But really, like price-wise, buying a PS5 and the PSVR 2, not that different, I think, from buying a Cambria. You're talking like probably just a few $100s, I imagine.
Especially if you don't have a PlayStation at the moment, for sure.
Yeah,
having that cost in one go is a big pill to swallow, for sure. But yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, Joe Rogan seemed pretty excited about it. He seemed to really enjoy it. And yeah, that wire on the PSVR really is I don't know. I mean, I never play PCVR wired, and I just don't. I don't know how. I don't know. I just feel like that would really affect me. I don't know.
I'm wondering if one, I mean, obviously we still don't know all the details for PSVR 2, but I wonder if Sony will have like a wireless adapter at some point for it. Because I feel like I don't know if it, I mean, surely it can. If the Quest can Airlink or virtual desktop for a PC, I mean, the PlayStation is basically a PC. I'm sure they could find a way.
For sure. There's that Kickstarter that's doing it for the Valve Index. I mean, if they can do it for that, I'm sure Sony could do something.
Yeah. Be another $100 or something, but sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seems like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the Cambria it's weird how they said it's come out in October now, which is literally a month away. Technically, depending on when it is in October, I guess. A month or 2 months away. But then we don't know much about it yet still. And it's so close, right? Like, what do we expect from it? We obviously expect the
eye tracking.
The eye tracking. We expect obviously the workrooms type of thing with having the keyboard and such for working. But in terms of gaming, I guess the color path through in terms of some AR games to it, but is it going to have so much of a boost? Because I'm not sure if I think this is just going to live hand in hand with the Quest. And the Quest is going to be this is for people who just want to kind of game. And then the Cambria this is for people who probably want to do that, but also want to work in VR. And this might be the devs headset in terms of, this might be the great testing headset for the devs. And then they bring it down to Quest. I'm not sure. Well, PJ, like in your space with the devs, has anyone mentioned their excitement for it or anything like that?
I wouldn't say excitement. I've heard things here and there that I can't repeat, but I all I can say is I haven't heard anything that excites me about it.
Right.
I mean, I get it, but I do think it's not like for gamers, like you said. I think it's more for other, which is cool, and it will trickle down and into the next gaming headset, whatever that will be. So.
So it also depends on how much the price is. Are we getting predictions here? Because they said it's going to be way more than $800, and we've just had a price hike for the Quest 2 and the PlayStation, apart from the US. So I don't know. I want to throw it out there. I think it's going to be $11.99 US.
It's funny. I was going to guess $12.99.
I'm going to say $9.99 just because I don't know.
The one be under that.
When you get a Quest 2 now it's what, $4.99 or $3.99? I don't even remember now.
Yeah, it's both
after the price
for whichever one. Yeah.
I mean, that's just a huge difference for not a lot of extra power.
That's true.
Supposedly so. Like, once again, we just don't know everything, right?
And like you said, it's a month away. Like, we should know a lot more than we do.
We should know way more than we do. I feel like we know more for the PlayStation VR than we do with the Cambria. Yeah. So in terms of PlayStation VR, it's something that I've expressed on the podcast many times. This is the one I'm waiting for and excited for. PJ, I'm assuming you have a PlayStation as well then.
So my backstory is I bought a PS5, I don't know, 5 months ago. First PlayStation I've ever owned. I've always been an Xbox person.
I remember the Horizon screenshots that you're posting now, actually.
Yeah. So I got the PS5. I've been playing the backlog of games I've never been able to play and I'm loving it. Mm-hmm. I also got the PSVR one on a really good deal. So I've been checking out all the older games and, a lot of good stuff there. But I bought it mainly for PSVR 2. So I'm super pumped, especially like I got into Horizon Worlds and then they dropped that announcement for that. And I was like, I made the right choice.
Yeah. I mean, that Horizon VR game, I don't remember the exact name for it anymore, but it looks phenomenal in terms of the graphics and how it is a little bit more, not open world, but it's not exactly like linear, completely linear either. So there's a lot. I'm excited to feel the controllers. I think that's my biggest thing, is that those controllers, they're just so different to any other VR controllers that we have at the moment. So to see how that feels in the hand and with the haptic feedbacks, I mean, the haptic feedback on the PlayStation 5 controller DualSense already is pretty cool. Especially I remember in Resident Evil shooting with those guns. And like when you change from a shotgun to a Magnum or something, you can hear the controller like changing whatever is happening in the actual triggers, and it becoming harder or smoother to hit. I think that's going to be a massive feature, actually, especially for that immersion. Does the one cable deter you in any way, or are you okay with having the cable?
No, like I said, I still rock my CV1 Rift, and I honestly don't get it because and again, I have a room for gaming, so I have space. But it's just as easy for me to walk in, put my Quest on or my Rift, and I have all the cables, on the ceiling. I don't have to touch anything.
Yeah, I'm like constantly I realized like even just playing Shock Troops and Mist, I think I was trying to face one direction, and I'm just like constantly realizing like, oh wait, I gotta face that way and use the joystick to rotate here. So I just feel like I'd be getting tangled up. But now for seated experiences where I do love me some VR seated with a controller that don't involve the motion controllers or that just don't involve much movement. I do think it'll be like amazing for that. But the fact that Cambria comes out potentially like 4 or 5 months before it, and all that time I'm just going to be probably wanting that.
It's a shiny product syndrome.
Yeah. Oh, my Steam Deck did get moved up timeline wise.
Nice.
Yeah, it's now says July, which was 2 months ago or last month, to September. So within 5-6 weeks, I should be getting this Steam Deck, at least the email saying I can buy it.
Fingers crossed. PJ, have you got a Steam Deck or not?
No, I've gone back and forth, and I'm glad to hear they said that Steam VR is getting remade for like the Steam Deck version of things, which is awesome. But like I have a Nintendo Switch. I've beta tested the Xbox mobile stuff for like years now, and it works super well. I never find myself using anything mobile. Like I like big screen. Like I have Hue lights that sync up with everything. Like that's how I like the game. So the Steam Deck, aside from like possibly making my VR headset mobile, like that's the only thing that's really like, hey, maybe try that out. Other than that, I haven't. I don't know. That's just me though. I know I'm in the minority, and the Steam Deck is amazing. It's just one of those things where it's like, do I need it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing. I feel like we'll do a Let's Talk Steam Deck episode because I want to hear all about the Steam Deck, to be honest, when you get it in first hands, because obviously you see people in press release and such, but I want to see the raw detail, the Samsons, not getting paid nothing. Want to hear what's happening.
My college roommate was really the impetus for me wanting this thing this badly. He talks about it, he loves it, and he has a Switch too. And he was just playing Spider-Man. He's like, dude, I was playing Spider-Man 40 frames per second. I could see all of New York on this tiny little thing. It's just like, it was mind blowing to him. And I was like, oh, everything you say, I just want it.
It sounds like what I'm getting from the Steam Deck, it feels like the Nintendo Switch effect when that first came out. Everyone was also very hyped that, oh my gosh, we have this whole Breath of the Wild game, for example, on this tiny little device. And I feel like now, obviously, the Switch has hit like a ceiling in terms of how big those games can be, and now people are going, okay, the next level, that Switch Pro that everyone's been wanting, that is the Steam Deck, right? And we're having like the whole Master Chief collection or something like that on the go is pretty cool, and you don't need the internet or anything. It's pretty cool. But I saw a video I think yesterday or today that people figured out how to make the Wii U work with the Steam Deck. So now you can plug the Steam Deck into a TV. The TV can have what's going on the TV, and the Steam Deck screen is like the Wii U screen as well. So you can now do that, and you can do the same with Nintendo DS as well.
Wow. See, that makes me want to buy one more than ever, just having a portable computer you can plug into a screen anywhere, because I get way more use out of that. So maybe that'll change my mind.
yeah, maybe. Okay, let's move on to the next news story after all this PSVR and non-Quest talk. Walkabout mini golf Jules Verne. Announcement came out of nowhere because first of all, Labyrinth comes out. Then the week after, we're talking about Mist because they're showing us a level and such. And then the week after that, then all of a sudden Jules Verne comes out and going, "This is the next course in September, pretty much." Samson, can you tell can you tell the folks at home what the hell is Jules Verne? What even is this theme? Can you please educate us?
Well, I went ahead with oh gosh, Jenna from the Discord mentioned getting the Jules Verne audiobooks. So I was like, all right, I'm in. I don't think I've ever really truly read them. I read like the kids versions that were like part picture books, like way back when. So I didn't really remember the story at all. So I bought the audiobook, crushed it this week, listened to the entire 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and I yearn for way more Captain Nemo content. And to the point where I Googled this. I was like, what else can I take in here? There's a Disney Plus show in the works called Nautilus. And now I'm like really amped for that. But Jules Verne, I guess the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is more seen as like a sci-fi science fiction type of deal. The others more like adventure stories, mostly because of how well Jules Verne nailed the aquatic, the submarine, and all like the tech. Whereas Journey to the Center of the Earth, I think, is a bit more unrealistic in that way. But yeah, just fun stories. Really, I can definitely recommend 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to read and or listen to that one. And I'm looking forward to taking in more content. Really looking forward to watching the movie with some folks in the Discord, the like 1950s Disney one. And yeah, just these are going to be pretty incredible, I think. Most like, all of them, but just like taking Labyrinth and like being able to be like, holy smokes, I really crushed that. I'm so excited to play mini golf in this submarine.
just a bit more details before PJ. I'll let you chime in a moment. We've got 3 courses that are confirmed from this series. Okay, so we got the first one's going to be the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's going to come out at the end of September once again for $2.99, like every other course, which is still mind-boggling to me. It's like I want to give you more money. And then in 2023, they are going to release Journey to the Center of the Earth and Around the World in 80 Days. So that's not really, we don't know when in 2023, but that's the goal. So they're going to start off with this, then obviously they got Mist in November. PJ, you excited?
I am super pumped, but I also don't know who on that team doesn't know how to pace things. like you said, I have this crazy psychotic fly after me right now. So if I'm going like this, that's why. Like you said, the Labyrinth came out, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Mist. Oh, and then by the way, Jules Verne. I was just like, pace that out, man. Like, what the heck?
I really thought they'd be at their month schedule based on how much news was coming out.
Yeah. But I'm a huge, like, anything underwater, like, I just freaking love. Like, I was just playing Jupiter and Mars Quest release and just loving it. So the submarine and the 20,000 Leagues Under the Seas really got me pumped. And like $2.99, like I don't understand it either. Like I would pay $10
for the community. It's for us.
Yes. I mean, I really love the art style. They have the Jules Verne poster that they put up with the Walkabout, and it's just straight away you look at that and go, yes, give me this. It's
just so charming, and it's just charming, like we had DJ on the main conceptual artist and stuff who worked at Disney and stuff, like on the podcast, and it was just his work is just mind-boggling, and the way they tell stories without saying anything, it's just environment. It just
environmental storytelling.
One of my favorite things in VR is just that, and I walked around those courses and just like, we did it on the one course, I don't remember, but we were just like making up stories for all the dead bodies and skeletons, and it's just fun and a charming. I think
that was in El Dorado, yeah,
that's right.
Yeah,
I did think that they would release the third God, they did the ancient, it was supposed to be like in 3, right? There was the
The
ancient,
Lost Cities, you
yeah,
mean?
the Lost Cities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I did think that would come this month.
I think I I mean you said who's doing their pacing. I feel like them announcing stuff is like me and Samson getting guests on this podcast. It's all like we get them and then we're like, oh yeah, let's have you on now. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Let's just but we've got
The
20,000
one
Leagues Under the Sea in September,
I
and
was
then
gonna say one more thing,
yeah.
with that pacing. Like they've put out so many cool ones, like but when you start doing like well-known things, like I have forgotten about their other like the ones that came out right before it, like the Lost Cities and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like that's why you got to pace that stuff because I feel bad when I forget stuff like that because it's so awesome. And it's
Oh,
like, oh,
I
Maverick.
always forget Bogey's Bonanza. I always forget. I'm looking at lists. That's why I'm remembering them. I forget Sweetopia all the time for sure. Even Gardens of Babylon. I had so much fun in that, but sometimes I forget. And then Quixote Valley as well with the
Yes.
wind. It's like there's just so much coming out. But then that's also with them is that I kind of like that I mean they said they want to do one every single month, but they've kind of not stuck to it at the moment. But it's kind of nice because they've put so much detail. You see from Tourist Trap all the way up to Labyrinth in terms of that, arc of progression in terms of the art style, in terms of I won't say difficulty in the levels, but how like clever those levels are. It's such a big wide span of it makes funny. There's Tourist Trap, Cherry Blossom, Seagull Stats, and Arizona Modern to an extent so different to everything else. You can tell they're kind of like part of a different season of games. Still amazing, but they've just stepped up.
You
And
can
it
tell
feels like
how they've grown. Yeah.
every single one they step up more and more and more. They're not really going backwards at all. I mean, even if they did, that'd be fine. If they gave us just a normal course, that's fine.
Well, that's why I was kind of thinking that a while back. Like, how hard is it to make like a whole, like a little course? Like, how many different ways can you really do it? And then they're like, oh, we're gonna bring in these franchises and do it that way. Like, okay, that makes sense.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Oh yeah, in terms of like what themes they would do next, yeah. No, the franchise, it seems like they're going that way, but Lost Cities, I feel like there's one more that still remains, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. What was
it's
Lost
almost
Cities?
like a month isn't long enough to play one course they released. Like I could, because you get to play like a couple times a month, and then it's like, oh, a new one, and then you don't go backwards. And yeah, it's insane.
That's true. And there's so many...
I do like the random button for this purpose.
Yeah. Random hard, random easy. It's just... Yeah,
that is cool.
Absolutely. But I mean, we're complaining about so much content just because it's so good. It's just I feel bad. I don't know, because the team is small as well. The Walkabout team is not huge whatsoever. It's like a handful of people, if that. So the fact that they're pumping out this content, and I think they already announced that they already have so many plans for 2023 already. I think they have 7 months in advance in terms of planning, in terms of what courses they're going to do, which is crazy. It's mental, but yeah, I'm excited to whatever they put out. Whatever they put out is a A1 purchase.
Apparently, they're still working on that AR app with the phones, the iOS and/or Android app, and that will significantly increase the amount of people that are able to play Walkabout.
They said that's awesome. Coming out. They should come out before Mist, is what they said. Okay. And the fact that you can do multiplayer with somebody who's in VR is,
yeah.
Just keep doing good things, Walkabout. But that's Jules Verne. That will be the first one. Will be out in September, at the end of September, so probably this time next month. Next news story is Saints and Sinners. There was a lot of stuff that came out in Gamescom, to be honest, but one of the biggest ones was the Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 gameplay, because that is coming out soon. I don't know if they gave an exact release date, but I'm assuming October, November, just like the first one did.
I assume before Halloween.
Yeah, October was the first time, was the Quest 1 version it came out, and October not even writing release date. But anyway, new gameplay. I'll put a video of it whilst I'm talking about it on the video podcast. But looks beautiful because it's a PCVR. Crafting has been expanded. There's like somebody that you meet, kind of like, you know, that old games, there's some old roguelike games where you'd meet like a shopkeeper and you can buy some of the some items and such. It's kind of like that, where you can just buy some materials or buy some weapons as well as crafting them and such. There's a new night mode, which I feel like the PC VR version alone is going to be worth getting, or the PlayStation VR 2 when it comes out next year.
That flashlight, yeah.
Yeah. So the night mode is a cool one. So obviously you have a flashlight, which you had normally, but the walkers are sensitive to that light, so you don't want to use it too much either, and that's quite terrifying. But sounds really good. There's new area in New Orleans. Or is it New Orleans or New Orleans?
Nolans.
Nolans, right? New Orleans. Yeah, I think New Orleans is said in the UK, but New Orleans. Yeah, there's a French Quarter area. There's a new attachment called laser sight, so you can pinpoint those heads. There's new weapons. Obviously, you saw the chainsaw in the original, but you get to see a bit more of it, how that works, as well as you saw the one of the bad guys, I would say, at the end as well. But that's out later this year. PJ, I know how you are with horror games. How's this one for you?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, dude.
So I own it. I have yet to fire it up once. I've been told, you know, it's not super scary or creepy. So I've been trying to save it for this October, and I'll try and jump in and, you know, scream like a little child on live cam and stuff like that, maybe.
Yeah, I'd like to see that live streamed.
I love everything about it, so it just sounds awesome. Except for that flashlight stuff, man. That's gonna.
I played a little.
Yeah,
it's scary. It's scary.
God damn it!
It's
I'm gonna have to do it.
I assume, obviously I haven't played this in PC VR, but I've obviously played it in Quest, and I do like the horror, so I guess I don't get scared too. I still get scared, but it doesn't, you know, I'm okay a little bit. But the opening segment of Saints and Sinners 1, this is not a spoiler, this is just a caution for people. It's okay. You're in a graveyard, everything's quite eerie. You look around, you think something's gonna jump. Nothing's gonna jump. Okay, don't worry about it. It's just a tutorial. You'll be fine. And then after that, it gets a bit more scary. But like that part in the graveyard, because the graveyard in the first game is where like I would say the game hub is, because you're in like a little bus, and that's where you like set up shop. Nothing once you open up that graveyard section, nothing ever jumps out. You're okay. It's just eerie. That's all it is. And then once you go to other sections, that's when it gets a little scary. But the graveyard part's fine. It petrifies me when I first went in.
I don't really remember a lot of. I didn't play a lot, I'll say that. But like jump scary wise, but what gets me is like the eeriness and like you don't know what's around corners. Oh God, when you've got to like build and construct things and all that. Yeah, the crafting, I struggle with getting in all types of games, really. And I get overwhelmed. Like if there's a horde coming at me, I'm just like, oh, what do I do? Like all of a sudden I lose all brain function. And yeah, I'm like, I have weapons. I don't know. I'm dead. I'm dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
probably
what gets me.
This is probably me being the biggest baby I've ever been with horror and VR. Like if I just do a couple games, get used to it, I'm probably fine. But it's just like you said, just the atmosphere and the eeriness is enough to be like, oh, I'm good. Because like I said, we were streaming the Atlas murder mystery in the movie theater. Nothing. Maybe a spoiler. Nothing super crazy happens, but the atmosphere is just like. You're like creeping around when there's nothing there. I don't know.
It's the atmosphere that gets you. To be fair, maybe Walking Dead less so, but in Resident Evil 7 in the VR, you do get used to the scares in a way. I don't know if that makes sense, where it gets scary for the first maybe 2-3 hours, but then once more and more you play it, things obviously still scary happen, but you just get used to it, so it doesn't feel as scary. Walking Dead, I've never really played consistently. I've always been in and out for it, apart from when I first got it. But to be fair, I never really got used to that one. But you're right though, like you said, Samson, the hordes of zombies. My biggest fear is being chased by like something, right? It's always like if I have a nightmare, it's I'm being chased by something. And getting chased by a walker is not fun, I'm not gonna lie. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I always come back for more. I got something sick in the head, but with that chainsaw, you'll have to get real close. Chainsaw. I'm hoping it's like a Gears of War type of chainsaw where it has a cool sound when you're chainsawing them through.
In the clip that's on Upload's website, it looks pretty cool. It looked like it was going through them pretty well, and they get sliced up. I did want to see somebody to like shove it in this way, like I'm going forward, not like your normal chainsaw movement, and just hold it in them and just see blood spewing out. Maybe that's a little sick. I don't know.
I mean,
that's what you want from a zombie game.
Exactly. That's what you want. But apparently,
it did make me want Gears too.
What I've heard from people who went to Gamescom and tried it, the haptic, well, not the haptic feedback, I would just say the vibration in the controllers are really cool. Like when you have to pull the cord for the chainsaw, it does feel like there's some resistance and such. So I'm hoping when you're using it, it's vibrating a little bit like you would if you're holding a chainsaw. And that's what makes me excited with the PSVR 2. Once again, how these haptic feedback feels with the chainsaw. It might be a game changer. But yeah, sure. We'll see. Before I kind of move on from the story, Samson, did you ever try any of those horror games that you bought?
No, but I did install their PC versions, so maybe
what'd you get? You got Phasmophobia, you got
oh, that I've had, but I bought these through the Oculus store. At Wraith, the Oblivion, right? Afterlife, Affected the Manor, Cosmo Dread, and Dread Halls.
Cosmo Dread did scare the crap out of me. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, maybe I start doing some short content, you know, for the podcast, and in the name of marketing, I put myself through hell.
Yeah, do it. Just for Halloween, you'll hit TikTok fame. I recommend you do Affected the Manor. There's two. I've not played the main game, never actually tried it, but there's two mini games in there. I actually have a YouTube video which I think I put on the Discord, where there's one where you're holding a candle, and that's all you have. Everything else is dark, and you kind of navigate your way through this house. You don't have a gun or anything like that, and it's a few jump scares and such, but it's really, really cool. Even in the quest,
I've been saving that for an October episode video, so I'm excited for that.
That's definitely a good one. The other one as well in Affected the Manor is one where it's like a race. You have to race from the start to the end, but as you get to as you're going through, you have to navigate through the mansion, but everything's straight, so you're using the controllers to run like this, and you're trying to run through and trying to choose the right doors and such, try and get a good time, but things start flying at you. There's chairs throwing at you and such, and I did scream in that YouTube video as well.
Dude, I screamed in the like "Don't Wake Bobby" game, which is essentially a mini game.
That's scary though.
That I couldn't even like start that game. I was just the opening music. I'm just like, God damn.
Yeah, that opening music, and then when you're trying to build, your hands start getting sweaty because you look to the left and he's just there with that ugly face, like he's gonna jump at me anytime. No,
friggin' Bobby.
Awesome. All right, let's wrap up the news here. The last thing I just wanted to mention or just kind of talk about quickly is the Quest 2 no longer needs the Facebook account starting from now as you listen to this. So you can now, well, depending if you got your update, it's in the next update. I feel like it's 43 for Quest. So as soon as that comes out, I haven't got it yet, but you'll get like an email from Facebook as well. And they're encouraging you to get this Meta account. Like, they're really encouraging you to.
I think it's beyond encouragement. When it gave me the option, I couldn't access anything without setting it up.
Oh, interesting. I've heard of a lot of problems. Some people say setting up.
It was easy. I'm not going to lie.
but
it was pretty easy to set up the Meta account. Although I did just relink it with my Facebook. So it was like, look, create your Meta account. I was like, with Facebook, and then it was pretty much done. I have noticed that I've had trouble, some issues getting into PSVR with Airlink. I'm not sure if it's related at all, but generally I just like reboot the software, reboot my Quest, and I'm able to eventually solve that problem. But I'm not sure if it's connected at all. But yeah, it was pretty easy for me to do with my Facebook account. I know some people in the Discord had some trouble removing their Facebook accounts and setting it up. But it seems like some people on Twitter, I've seen like Gamertag and Beardo Benjo mention having a pretty easy time with it.
In the PC. PJ, did the Rift, the one that you have, ever require the Facebook account? Did it ever change or?
Nope, but there was an update, oddly enough, at the same time when they rolled out this new thing. So, and I probably shouldn't, you should never be this way. I just kept clicking it until it worked. So I don't really know what it did. I haven't noticed anything different. I just know it said, hey, you have to do this next time you fire up or you can't play. So.
Okay. Yeah, you either have a Meta account or a Facebook account. It's one or the other. It's no longer Oculus accounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. All right, that's all I kind of want to mention about it. That's pretty much the news in a nutshell. Let's complete the show with games that are out this week. Samson, do you want to start with the Cornhole?
I would love to start because I can't really pronounce the second one, so great. ForeVR Cornhole coming out September 1st. I'm pretty excited for this one. I do love me some Cornhole action. Pick from 50 plus unique bags and boards with classic and creative designs to suit each cornholer. Experience our custom beanbag physics, tailored for all throws and strategies and optimized for realism. Immerse yourself in 5 stunning hauls with more to come. Bags, sack toss, dummy boards, doghouse, beanbag toss, no matter what you call it, it's surely the world's greatest lawn game. ForeVR Cornhole is the best and first cornhole game for VR. And I hope it kind of, honestly, the bocce time game feels pretty good, and it's sort of the same motion. So I look forward to it.
PJ, can you? I mean, there's no embargo when this comes out, so have you played it at all?
By the time you air this, everything will be good. So I've played it a lot. It's great. It's probably aside from darts and bowling, it's probably my favorite ForeVR game now. Yeah.
Wow.
My first 3 tosses were hole-in-ones. I'll have a bunch of videos.
Yeah, I'm good.
I have a bunch of videos launching tomorrow, which is the 29th is when the embargo releases. And I have like a 1.5 minute game where I smoke the computer. Like I just right in the thing. Nice. So it works really well. And I love how they, all their games, they have the YouTube where you can play videos and listen to music, and the same lobby where you go in and pick your bags and the things you unlock and your boards. And it's all the same as the other games. And I like that. So I'm really pumped to play with other people because it works really well.
Yeah, does the physics feel good when you toss the beanbag and such?
Yeah, it feels great. And there's many times that the bags land on the board and you try to knock them off or knock your own in the hole, and I've done both of those plenty of times.
Nice.
And on purpose.
Yes. And like the 3rd or 4th level you can unlock is like an arcade, and they actually have like a couple simple arcade games you can go up and play in the arcade. Like it's really neat. So.
Ooh. Oh, wicked. Yeah. I feel like one day I don't know if they want to come out with more these sports games, but one day they must do like a ForeVR collection sports, like ForeVR sports, and then have every one of these games as a collection in there. But
they do have special unlockables. I don't know the exact details, but if you have the other games, you get special like bags and things.
Balls or bags. Okay, cool.
And I think they might have had like a sale where if you got, if you had them, you got a discount, or if you bought them all, you get a discount type of thing, which is cool.
No, that's good to hear, because I know Kimberly, fan of the show and Patreon and such, she loves the darts. She really likes the ForeVR darts, so that's good that they're very consistent on just how the quality of the games, because they are turning around quite quickly. But that's good to see that the level is quite consistent.
My favorite thing, and then I'll be quiet. If you get 4 in a row, a thing pops up and calls you the Great Cornholio, and
that's why you like that game the most, because of you've been called that many times.
Yeah, I won't do the voice, but yeah, it's great.
The Great Cornholio. Okay. The next game is Intercosmos. That was not hard to pronounce there, Samson.
Yeah, that K was throwing me off.
I was like, I looked at it, I was like, maybe it is hard, but then okay, Intercosmos 2000 is out on also the 1st of September. In fact, all of these games are. Go to space, save the future, try not to die. Welcome back to the world of Intercosmos for an even wilder, weirder, and wondrous adventure. Experience the intense exhilaration of spaceflight, explore the awe-inspiring interiors of realistic space capsule, master the crucial systems that will keep you in orbit and breathing. Interesting. And while you're at it, try your best not to die. Should you complete your mission, you just might save the future and yourself. Should you fail, let's not think about that. With more challenges, more stunning visuals, and more hours on replayability than ever, the year 2000 has never been so thrilling. That just reminds me of that Busted song, year 3000, but I'm going back to 2000. Have you guys looked at this game at all? And PJ's nodding his head.
I saw a video of it, and I actually have an invite out for them to come talk to us, so that'll be cool. But yeah, it looks like a puzzle, not an escape room, but puzzle, where you're kind of in a little spaceship trying not to die. So right up my alley.
It's the expect you to die kind of. I like the art, to be honest. I like the art. I feel like this could be, I don't know if it has like narration during the game, but I feel like it could be a very funny game as well, have some comedic elements.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
I had not heard anything about it. Watching kind of a trailer right now, and yeah, it looks kind of cool. You're in like a cockpit, pressing buttons, solving some puzzles.
It's a seated game in a way. I guess it could be. Just up your alley, Samson.
I think the video I saw, I think you were walking around. It's kind of like a bigger room than just the cockpit.
Okay,
well, you can move around. Yeah, that's fair enough. So that's Intercosmos. PJ, do you have the script in front of you?
Sure.
Do you want to read? Do you want to read the last one?
Sure. This is the one I'm not 100%. Is it DSIM?
I go DSIM, but I don't really know. I don't.
Looks like DSIM's probably right, because that's what I don't think is right, but that's how that goes. So DSIM out September 1st. Live the experience of being an wow.
We nailed them with the hard one.
Thanks, guys.
Omnipotent
God, and decide the fate of mankind. In this sandbox game, you can build your own world from scratch and guide humanity from Stone Age to modern era and beyond. Perform miracles to help humanity prosper or hinder them by causing disasters. You can do anything you dream of in deism. You are in charge, and no one will judge your actions.
That one's fun. I played a good amount of hours of that one. It was on App Lab.
It's already got almost 1,000, I think 790 or something reviews on Oculus already, and 5 stars all around. And I think, Samson, you mentioned this on the podcast a few weeks ago about this game. I think this might be one of your favorite games, actually, in that top 10 list that we did. So
it's a lot of fun, and the updates they have planned sounds really good. So I'm excited.
Pretty consistent updates throughout this game's lifespan so far. It's been out for many years.
Yeah, it's been on App Lab for a year, and like you said, with all those reviews and everything, like, what does it take to get on the main store? If not
luck, roll of the dice.
But if I may do a plug here, they'll be on our podcast on November 30th talking about this. So
look at you, planned real far ahead on that one.
Yeah, real far ahead.
He didn't have any. I'm like, I'm already booked through September. How's this? Okay, because it comes out the 1st. He's like, that'd be better. I'm like, can't.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
that's fair. Oh, very good. Awesome. So that's essentially our show. Thanks, PJ, for coming on. Short notice as well, I must admit, but thank you very much. anything else you want to plug? Any specific episodes that you just had that you want to plug that people should listen to?
That they should, all of them, but I think it was 2 episodes ago we were talking to Markets VR, and they're coming back out with their platform, and we'll have a booth in there where you can come chat with us in VR or on a flat screen and see our shop and talk to us. I'm really excited for that. We're partnering with them to do a couple of things, so I think it has the vibe of kind of what Spatial Ape had, and I think once they launch, there'll be little communities that you can get to go to. And it's charming to me because it's like going to a Renaissance fair and you're just hitting all these little shops in a row and checking out their wares. And there's people that they actually will be there to talk to you and things. And it's both physical, digital goods. So yeah, check that out. That's going to be neat.
Oh, very, very good. Awesome. With PJ's stuff, or VR Verdict stuff rather, everything will be in the description, so you can see all the links from them. Go buy their merch. I like this blue t-shirt that you're wearing. I might have to look at this merch store again. I saw you have mugs on there as well. But... It's
literally one of those, or there's like 2 sites where anything you can think of, they'll put the logo on there. It's kind of cool. So
oh, works sweet. Yeah, your Samson, your merch is quite nice too.
Oh yeah, always.
Awesome. All right, thanks to everyone at home who's listening, or in the car who's listening, or watching on the YouTube. We will speak to you next Wednesday. Bye now.